All right, Coach, welcome back to Atlanta.
Thank you.
I know this is very exciting for you, but when you first get the call that you're going to return to Atlanta and be the head coach, what was initially going through your mind?
Well, we'd had, a lot of intensive dialogue and, excitement, and gratitude. I think, I've done this for 16 years in the NBA and had a chance to be part of some really good organizations. So, you're able to recognize something that you think where there's a lot of alignment, and you recognize, smart people that have a vision, that are creative, innovative, as much as anything, just high character individuals that, to have a chance to work here with Landry, it was something, an opportunity that I felt like was a unique one and one that I was happy for and still enthusiastic and looking forward to.
Aside from those conversations and the symmetry in terms of you and Landry and the way that you believe you can run a team, what was it that was attractive about this job for you?
Well, I think my relationship with Kyle also, played a part. He's someone that I trust and respect and have known for a significant amount of time, and his feelings and his shared vision along with Landry's. And then the players. I think it's a group of players that I think will be fun to coach. Guys that are far enough along in their career where they have some understanding of the league and in a spot where I think there's a lot of them that have an opportunity to improve. And anytime you get to be a part of that process, it's rewarding. And this city is one that we weren't here for a long time, but if you're somewhere long enough, and we have 4 kids now, we only had 2 then, we're excited about being part of this community as well.
You were here for a year. What was the pulse of the city that you got when you were around those Hawks fans?
You know what? It was a whirlwind, but when that place gets going, and you can really feel the energy rise. It has an impact, in a lot of ways. It's fun, first of all,
yeah.
And I think it can provide, some juice to a team too. So it'll be fun to feel that again.
You have a proven track record when it comes to the postseason, and obviously that's a huge emphasis here. The Hawks want to make it back to a position they were in a couple of years ago, as deep of a run as they made.
Right.
What's your philosophy when it comes to what makes an NBA team great?
Well, I think it's incremental too. You don't start out great. Each year you may start out in different, places along that continuum, but I think those experiences that you go through, sometimes, the hard ones as much as the successes, and all those things kind of contribute to, to formulate a team, and then a little bit of luck, some timely play, but more than anything, and I think for right now too, that the opportunity to get better and have that be a part of, success. And that's what we're going to try to do.
One of the big things that Landry has talked about really for the last week is accountability, and he wanted a coach to come in here and hold players accountable. When you hear of some of the things that have been happening with the Hawks, Trey's name thrown out there a lot, what is your mindset on all of that and how to hold people accountable?
Well, I the way I've looked at this is to look at the whole team. I think for all of us, myself, maybe first and foremost, to be accountable to myself, and for the players, I think individually that's where that starts. And then there's certain things that are crucial that you want to have and you want to do. They present themselves, I think, rather than, it's not necessarily formulaic, but I think if there's a commitment to a team evolving and taking on a certain identity, that obviously those things, on the court, as far as what your play looks like, you're able to identify them, and it's not something you don't run from that, and the players can't run from it either. And I think that being real with each other about those things, because we're talking about accountability, and the things that we want to have accountability on are the things that help you win.
Last question from me. Obviously, the simple answer when I ask you, where do you want to take this team, is NBA championships. But where do you want to take this team?
I want to get better. I want to get better. And that pathway, every year, I think the odds-on favorite to win the NBA championship is probably 16%,
Yeah.
So it's hard. That said, you don't look at it that way. If you did, you may decide that you can't do it. You know, with those odds, that wouldn't be a bet anybody would want to make. And by the same token, I think everybody wants that. So I think it really gets down to how you approach it and how can you get better to be in that position where you're competing on a high level.